agree with you.
Thank you.
I think you and I are going to be best of friends at the end of this.
If we aren't already.
I guess you're right. Power of Inbox. So we're going to have a different experience today. You will find very quickly that I like to give things away. I like to give all kinds of cool ideas that I really would like everyone in the room to actually do within the next week or so. Right? So we're not going to be the Donald Trump and pledge. We're just going to promise ourselves that we're going to do that after today, because you're going to get a lot of, I think, very actionable ideas and best practices that you can totally implement within your email marketing campaign right away. You know, we're only on Wednesday. I know it's March break, but hey, give yourself till next Monday and away we go. My contact information is here. You can connect with me. You can email me. You can call me. I strongly recommend you do. If you've got an idea and you have to just figure out, hey, is this really going to work? Call me. You can call my bluff. I'm not bluffing you. Call me. I'm waiting for your call. If it doesn't work for you, you can always go on our website, impression.ca, and there's an online tool that you can not sign up, but you can actually do a meeting request. So again, if you've got an idea and you just want to flesh it out, please give me a call. And so that information's there. The other thing that I like to do is I like to collect business cards. I'm a guy who collects business cards. Why? Because I love to give things away. You can have this slide deck for a measly price of a business card. So all you need to do is provide me with your business card. If you don't have one, or you ran out already, shame on you, there's a blank card in here, so you can write your information in here. So really, I'd rather you just chill out, relax, have your wine, coffee, whatever's in that white mug of yours, my friend, who knows what it is. Relax and listen to what I'm going to say to you, and then you'll get the slide deck within the next 24 to 48 hours. I just need your business card. Also, your business card will have yourself put into our list for impression. If at any point you no longer want to hear from us, there's always an unsubscribe link in our communications. Feel free to unsubscribe. We're still best of friends. We certainly don't take anything personally. Quite frankly, you're probably doing us a favor if you really don't want our information. We're okay. We're okay with that. And the other point is we're going to have a draw near the end of the event, so you have an opportunity to get yourself a nice Timmy card for a spanking 10. I tried US dollars. They wouldn't even accept it, so I said Canadian, and away we go. Okay, so throw your business cards in, and we'll go from there. So let's start this journey with the simple statement that when it comes to any digital marketing strategy, first impressions matter. When someone opens your email communication specifically, what they see is going to impact what they do next. And so in your cases, it could be you're sending a newsletter, you're doing an announcement, you're wanting them to donate to your organization, you want them to come to an event. Whatever that is, anything when it comes to digital, there's always going to be an action item. So first impressions matter. It's very important we understand that, because people have now the choice within seconds to negate your email communication and or say, wow, this one has drawn my attention. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes. I'm going to read it. I'm going to see what it says, and I move on. A lot of people have said to me email communications don't work, A, because they get a lot, and B, there's a lot of information there. So I'm going to go through a science there is about email and some best practices that will take this group to that next level when you're doing your next communication. But the key here is first impressions really do matter. It's important that we know that when we are actually sending a digital communication out, it's professionally put together, we're using the right digital tool to do so, and we're measuring results. And we're going to go through that throughout our journey today. So let me showcase we're all visual by an example. Let's look at an email communication, and God forbid, people still do this. I hear this. I was in a meeting about a week or two ago, and an organization showed me this and said, this is what we do. This is how our email communication is. Now, would anyone in this room be very truthful with me, Ian, and say, Ian, would you actually read the email to your left?
Not really.
What, not really?
Well, I skimmed through it.
You'd skim through. Wow, you're giving them some sort of time and day. What about you, Neil?
Yeah, similar. I might look at that link that there's an email in the body of the message, but other than that, I wouldn't read the whole thing.
Okay. So what research shows is that really, when you're doing an email communication like this, The majority, I'm going to say 99.9% of people will basically delete. Now, there's some things we need to understand. First of all, this one does not reflect any organization's brand. It does not reflect any opportunity for you to take an action. Like Neil said, well, I kind of see some kind of link, but I'm not sure if you're going to see that on a mobile device. If you look at the right version on the right side, that's using a proper email service provider. You have the ability to incorporate your brand overall identity, you have the ability to incorporate your logo, you have the ability to incorporate links, and you have the ability to actually showcase the overall professionalism of your organization. First impressions matter. Remember, I'm dealing as a marketer, and you folks are dealing as organizations for Karen's attention. We want Karen's attention. How many people in the room get at least 25 emails every day? A minimum. So we're dealing with 25 or more emails moving forward. The email communication on your right is really going to take you out of the weeds and put you in the forefront. So first impressions matter. Now, let's go through a definition of what I would say is email marketing. This is a true definition. So for me, email marketing is defined in really 4 or 5 points. The first point is delivering a professional email communication. When I say delivering a professional email communication, we are using a proper email service provider tool. We are incorporating our overall brand look and feel. It's grammatically correct, there's no spelling errors, and away we go. Okay? Second point, email marketing is defined as a way to be generating to an interested audience. Everyone in this room has the ability to put an email communication in a spam folder and has the ability to delete an email communication. If we have that ability, I need to make sure that I'm sending it to an interested audience. Therefore, I want to make sure that the audience that is being communicated to not only is interested, but I have actually added them to a mailing list. To the third point, containing information that recipients are finding value. It's not value that you're considering, it's value that they are going to find. So that's very important. Even though I've got you on my email list, it doesn't necessarily mean that the information I'm sending you may be of any value to you. And I need to figure that out as an organization by either doing an online survey or simply asking. Last point, that looks great in an inbox. Do you know that now close to 70% of us folks in Canada are consuming content on an email, on a mobile device? Close to 70% of us. So we need to create communications that are going to look great in any inbox. And that's a tablet, that's a desktop, and that's a mobile device. As a matter of fact, there are now places in the country, in the world, that actually have more mobile usage than they do in desktop usage. So we need to make sure they're looking great in every inbox. Okay, so the common theme I talk about a lot when I do this session is about the tool. You need to use the right tool for some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today work, right? You have to use the right tool because the right tool will get you in Karen's inbox. It'll get Karen's attention. I can measure my results if Karen actually clicks or opens the communication. I can see when she's actually looking at communications. Maybe Karen's an early bird. She's up at like 3 in the morning. Maybe not, I don't know. But I can see that if I use the right tool. And I can also see if Karen, I'm not picking on you, Karen, by the way, and I don't want to be getting any royalty checks from you. But also I can see from Karen if some content resonates with her. That's important as a marketer. I want to be able to use a tool that's going to provide me with some results. I don't want to be doing content that's not resonating. Remember I said it's got to be content that's interesting to them. Okay? So, with that said, let's talk about our journey today. Where is Karen? Okay, I owe you some free candy. This is for you. It's free. Fresh, made it today. Neil, you're the HR guy. I owe you candy because I don't like writing royalty checks, so you're next time. I feel bad. I don't want to be able to. There you go. Okay? So here's our journey today. We're going to determine very quickly why email marketing, because I hear this a lot. Oh, we really don't do email marketing. It really doesn't work. We've tried it. It's just not working for us. Right? So we're going to talk about how do you harness the power of the inbox? How do we get that attention from everyone in this room today through the communications that everyone is getting? We're going to then talk about various elements. I'm going to touch on these 4 elements. High level, and we can have a further conversation. Then we're going to talk about Sort of what are the best practices in putting all this together when we're going to do our next communication come next Tuesday, next Wednesday. And then certainly there's action items. There's some next steps I want everyone to understand, okay? Is there anything from here that we have not touched on that you are interested or you were expecting today? Because we can certainly touch on that. We're good? Oh, this is going to be easy. Okay, so let's talk about why email marketing. Let me share with you some stats. And I'm going to walk over here and look at my first aid. What do you think this is? What is this, first of all? Toothbrush. Why am I holding up a toothbrush? Come on, Leah, take a guess.
Everybody uses it.
Everybody uses it. I hope everybody uses it. Right? So here's a stat. You'd be amazed. First of all, like I said, close to 70% of us in Canada consume content on a mobile device. Here's why I'm holding this up. Look at this next stat. Here's why I'm holding this up. Ew, I was hoping someone was going to say that because you guys weren't saying much. Yeah, ew, right? So this is important. Why is email marketing very powerful? Look at that stat. Ew or not, people are actually utilizing technology more than a toothbrush. Yes, ma'am.
How do they come up with that stat?
This stat was from litmus.com. So if you look up litmus.com, that's the source of the stat. It's really from statistics. No, Litmus, if you know litmus.com, Litmus is a big market research company based in the United States. So there was a stat, they actually did a research study on the uses of technology versus household items. Number one came up was toothbrushes. That's how they came up with this, okay? Here's another stat, right? Why email? There is another reason why. Here are some very simple stats. 91% of us in this room check our email daily. As a matter of fact, there is a stat. Forrester Research found that within the hour, one of you in this room check your email on your mobile device 150 times within the hour. You're actually looking at that tiny screen 150 times within the hour. Look at this other stat. Email marketing, you are able to reach 90% of your audience versus social media. Facebook, you can only reach 2% of your fans. And look at the last one. When it comes to conversion rate, that's incredible. Look at the conversion rate, right? Look at that conversion rate, 3 times as more. And when it comes to rate of investment, look at the rate of investment. The return on investment when it comes to email marketing, close to $45 per $1. And this is not, for me, anything new, because if I ask you the following question, how many people in the room, Leah, that includes you, how many people in the room have an email address? Anybody who does not have an email address? Well, you didn't raise your hand, so you must not have an email address. Right? Yeah, you have several of them, and you do too, right? So people have several of them, people have a lot. That's why email marketing is very, very powerful, and it's very hard to beat. It's very hard to beat. I'm not suggesting it's one or the other, okay? There's other reasons why it's very hard to beat. Just look at some of these stats. The cool thing is you're going to get the slide deck so you can refer back to this information. Second point, and I wanted to add this because I get a lot of people saying, yeah, but I had this conversation yesterday. I still do regular email. You know, we kind of do this stuff to sell our services. Well, here's reasons why you shouldn't. Look at this. You're limited at the number of emails that you can send, including within your Outlook, your Gmail, and your Yahoo accounts. They limit you. You have the stronger opportunity to be dumped into spam folders. And as you know, within those 3 particular services, Gmail, Outlook, and Yahoo, once you're dumped into a spam folder, you're there. People really don't know they're getting your communications. You cannot brand. You cannot actually do anything that has that overall look and feel. And the last point, probably the most important one, is look at the last one. I can't track. So as a marketer, I can't track for you. I have no ability to track if anything is working. So, with that said, let's move on. If you use the right tool, if you actually use the right tool and implement some of the best practices, everything is then put into play. If you look, in this case, I have the ability to reinforce my brand identity. I have the ability to actually send a communication to a very select list of data points, contacts. I have the ability to track my results. I actually have the ability to make a template, any template you like, your own. Right? These are all templates you can make your own. So, with that said, let's talk about growing our list. As I would say, will be your number one thing moving forward from today. Let's find opportunities to grow a list, and I say a healthy list. Not just a list, a healthy list, because that's very, very important. So here are some steps. The number one thing as of July 1, 2014 is the fact that we need to get people's permission. That's the number one thing. So step number one, make sure you get people's express consent. Make sure now people know that they're expecting a communication from you when you add them to your list. That's number one. This is in order. So number one, make sure you actually communicate with people that they are going to be getting information from you. As you're having that conversation, set the expectations. As you're having the conversation with the folks, say, look, we're going to add you to our mailing list. We're going to send you communications every month, every end of the month, beginning of the month, but you're setting expectations. This is the type of communications we're going to send. So set your expectations of when, and set the expectations of what type of content am I getting. 3, always, in every email communication you send, and I'm talking specifically email marketing communications, always have the individual and give the individual the opportunity to opt out. Okay? As I said to you right at the very beginning, you all going to be on our mailing list. If at any point you don't want to be on the mailing list, you will have an opportunity on our communications to opt out. That's very important. 4, please respect people's privacy. When it comes to privacy policies, it really eases your audience and it really eases your contact list when they know that you have a privacy policy. I've seen organizations actually link their privacy policy on every email communication they send. Don't overwhelm them. Treat people like you want to be treated in an email relationship, right? Treat them as the way you want to be treated in an email relationship. So don't really overwhelm them. Don't be sending them, and avoid to try to send them every other day a communication. And the last, which is probably the most important, follow the 5 fundamentals of the Canada anti-spam legislation. So I laid them out for you. They're there for you. You get the slide deck, print this sucker up, and there you go. There's your 5 fundamentals of the anti-spam legislation. There are organizations today who have been fined because they haven't followed some of these fundamentals. And we're talking known organizations, not like mom and pop shops. Okay? So let me just stop on Castle real quick. July 1 of next year is the last phase of the legislation. And that after that phase of the legislation, we have the ability, I'm sure hoping we're not going to do this, we have the ability to then take each other to court. That's the 3rd phase of the anti-spam legislation. Okay? So, very important to get their permission. Here's some ways to grow a healthy list. I'm putting it out to you. I like to give you stuff. So here's some ways. Definitely, if you're at an event, make it part of your process. Make it part of your habit that you collect business cards and you ask people to have them join your list. Make it a habit. It should just be a common phrase as you're meeting people at networking events. And remember, when you're asking them for business cards, and if I'm talking to Terry, I'm going to manage my expectations with Terry getting his business card, asking him if I can add him to my mailing list. And I'm more than likely going to give him reasons why and what he's going to get. Look at the other one. I do this a lot. Right? Every speaking event I do like corporate ones. I've done conferences. Every time I say very verbally, hey, you're going to be added to the list. If you don't want to, you can unsubscribe. Same idea happens here. If you're given an opportunity in this room to either sponsor and then speak at an event, please find an opportunity to collect those lists. Easy way, people love incentives, right? So you figure out what incentive you can afford. If it's a Timmy card, a Starbucks card, whatever. People like those types of things. Here's another one. This is always important. If you're ever going to do a fishbowl or you're going to do one of those ballot box and you're going to have, the sign for someone to drop in, Peterborough, I'm sure, does a home show. Many communities do home shows and everyone comes out and it's an awesome event. I'm from Aurora, so we are doing ours in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I always recommend every business owner who's going to be participating at the home show, if you're going to have a fishbowl or you're going to have a ballot box, please, for the sake of me only, when you put your sign, put there that they're going to join the mailing list first, then they're going to get a chance to win something. Because once Leah says, hey, join our mailing list and get a chance to win the iPad mini, I know right up front that when I drop my business card or I fill out that ballot, I'm joining her mailing list first, and then I get a chance to win an iPad mini. Because if you don't, those individuals are considered implied, and I don't want to go down that road. I need a beer for that one. Okay, we don't want to go there. Okay? So if you are at that situation where you're going to do a draw at an event, make sure they know they're joining the mailing list first, and then they're going to get a chance to win whatever it is. Then you're managing the expectations. Moving forward, take that information, wrap it up, elasticize it, and keep that as your record. That is your way to track those pieces of contacts that you got at that event, right? Put them somewhere in a bank or box, whatever, but keep it as a track, okay? And then there's some others. This is usually a common one that I see quite a bit nowadays, where people actually have a sidewalk board and they have something very specific to entice someone to come into the storefront. I see this quite a bit. I'm originally from Northern California, so in Northern Cal, a lot of storefronts are doing this, and I do see them here too, right? I see them quite a bit here. At the end of the day, just ask. The worst I'm going to get is a no. Okay, I'm good. Okay, I'm not going to take anything personally, but you got to ask. And you can ask verbally, and you can ask via ballot or online, right? Digital. Join our mailing list. Okay? So, second point about growing a healthy list. You must give them a reason. Just by saying join our mailing list says, yeah, okay, but give me a reason of why. So I gave you like 6 here. I give you 6 reasons. So give me a reason why I should join your list. And that kind of entice me. Right? So I give you like 6 ideas. And this is where segmentation comes in really nicely. Because now you can start to segment your list specifically and then start to target those communications. So when you are growing that healthy list, give them a reason why you want them to join your list or join your community. Why? Give me the why. Okay? Let's move on. Content. Creating great content. So, for me, content, there's 3 or 4 elements that you need to be aware of when it comes to content. The first one is, please focus on the relevancy of the content. And this is important because a lot of people will send communications, they'll send content that they think is going to be relevant to their audience, but as a matter of fact, they fall flat. I've come across a number of small business owners who have done communications. I look at them and I say, well, that's great. Is this relevant for your audience? Oh, absolutely. How is it working for you? Well, I'm not getting anything. And usually it's because they think it's relevant content. And the next question I ask is, well, Ian, have you asked your audience? Have you done a survey? Have you maybe asked some of your top clients? Because that's the best way to figure out which is relevant for your audience. But you have to focus on relevancy. And I'll showcase a couple of stats of why that's important. Focus on the relevancy of the content, and it's relevant to them. And it's important to them, not to you. Second point, focus on how much you're going to provide. How much is enough? How many people in the room would love to read a 5 or 6 paragraph email communication on their mobile device? Anybody? Anybody would love to read like a 2 or 3 page email that I sent to you? Anybody? Are you sure? You guys are very serious. I'm going to have to really seriously get the wine out, because come on, right? So you got to figure out how much is enough. And I would say, quite frankly, 1 paragraph or 2, and we're done. Many people online want to see the top level information. Give me kind of a top level information, and if I'm interested in what Ian is providing, I will click on something to go and read more, or I'll click on something to go and watch Neil's video. I need to have the control to do whatever you want me to do. Okay? Third point. This is very important. Because I hear a lot of people saying, well, I don't know how to write, I'm too busy, I don't know where to go, I don't know about that, I don't, excuse. So here's an exercise you can do that I share with everybody. So I say everyone in this room more than likely gets at least 1 question, pretty common from either their customers, or if you're B2B, your suppliers. Is that fair to say? You probably know a common question people ask you on a regular basis. In some cases, I've seen people have, because they get so many questions, they actually create a frequently asked questions section of their site and just push them to that page of the site, because, God, it's the same question over and over again. So I say, well, turn those questions into content. So here's the thing. Take a white piece of paper or whatever you want to do, split it in half, and start documenting your questions. Start documenting your questions and document your answers. Now you build content all of a sudden. You can do on a monthly or every weekly, whatever you think is going to be relevant for your audience. You can create a cute question of the month. Do a quick question of the month and an answer. Hey, use video. Do a question of the month and then push them to your YouTube channel to watch the answer. So turning questions into content is very, very simple to do. Right? Because I get a lot of people saying, I don't have the time. You don't have to have the time. You probably have the answers already. You all are experts in your field, and you know more than certainly I do. Neil, we were just talking briefly, he's an HR guy, right? He's experts in HR, so he needs to really bring that out. So that's content. And the last one is, folks, when I talk about content, please don't negate other pieces of content. Images, video, word images, right? Those are pieces of content. Content isn't just words. Content can be an image with a headline. Content could be a video. Content could be a word image. So you got the image, and then you got words overlaid or a quote overlaid on top. So they don't just have to be content written. Anyone using Canva, CANVA.com, write that down. It's a free software piece that you can use to create word images for free. So Canva.com allows you to upload a picture. It allows you to go in and then type a quote or a comment and overlay it on top of the picture. It's very simple to do. And save it and you're done. Bob's your uncle. So when you actually get our communication follow-up, you'll see the email banner. That's Canva. We use Canva. It's free. And it's not that difficult to use. Okay? So, 4 things. At the end of the day, here's the most important statement right here. It's not about you. It's not about you, right? It's about what you know. It's about what you think is going to be relevant to your audience. Okay? So let's move on. Here's the stat I wanted to show you. Canadians have said, 38% of them, that, and I'll use Aaron, I'm not picking on him, but Aaron has said, yeah, I will unsubscribe if I find it's boring and or irrelevant. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
On your behalf, being your legal counsel, don't talk. Okay. So Aaron says he says, yeah, I will unsubscribe if it's boring or irrelevant. Okay. And I'm going to, you said Michelle? Carmel. I'm going to be Carmel's counsel. Is it fair to say, Carmel, that you'll send it to spam if it's irrelevant and boring?
Or just unsubscribe.
Aha. You will just unsubscribe. So you won't even give me an opportunity. You're just going to unsubscribe and say, I'm out of here. That's important. So the reason I have this up is because you need to write for your audience, right? You need to make sure it's relevant for your audience. And I keep using relevance because that is why I get people saying this stuff doesn't work. Because when I look at the content, it's not relevant for the audience. And it's a very simple task. Ask them. If you use the right tool, it'll have a functionality where you can do an online survey. There's SurveyMonkey, there's Constant Contact, whatever tool that you use, but you just ask them 3 questions or less with some incentive, and Bob's your uncle. Now you've done a focus group like really, really quickly. You'd be surprised what they say. All right, let's move on. How much is enough? That's the other question I get a lot. Content, what type of content, and how much is enough? Get it all the time. So, 3 things we need to understand with how much is enough, the quantity. When it comes to digital marketing, in this case, digital communication, less definitely is more. So best practice for your next communication should be very simple. 1 paragraph, I'll give you a maximum 2 paragraphs, and your best friend moving forward are going to be those shiny buttons. And a nice little shiny button, that's it. That's it. Less is more. Give me 1 paragraph, maximum 2 paragraphs, with a nice shiny little button, and that's it. And I get into discussions, heated ones in this case, in many cases, because people say, but we got to tell them more. I'm like, well, look, if they want to learn more, they'll click on that shiny button. Give Ian that opportunity. Give Aaron that opportunity. For me as a marketer, that's where the rubber hits the road, because when Aaron comes to me and says, hey, how did that campaign go? At least I've got data to show him, to say, look at all the people who actually clicked and went to your video, Aaron, about X. Aaron, what do you do, sir?
Insurance.
Good, perfect, right? Financial service professional, it's perfect. Hey, there's a particular insurance tip. Hey, Aaron, look at the amount of people who are interested in death benefits or whatever that is, right? Then it helps with our content marketing strategy. Second point. Right? Second point, don't forget about images. Maximum 3 images, period. Don't go any more than 3 images.
Does that include your logo?
No. Because I'm going to assume as your marketer that your logo is always going to be there. That's my assumption, which I shouldn't, but that should be a common thing, that your logo is always front and center of your communication. So that it does not include that. Very good question. Okay? So 3 images or less. Now let's keep going. There's a science to this. As a matter of fact, the science says that human behavior is, we're very finicky these days. If you provide me and I do a communication piece for Neil, or I do one for Jay, is it Jay? For Jay, what do you do, Jay?
I sell real estate.
Real estate agent, perfect, right? I do a communication for one of the two. If I only give them 1 link, look at the engagement I have. I get a higher engagement if I put in 1 link, 1 button, nice shiny button, versus 5 or more. So when you do your next communication piece, 1 shiny button, maximum 2 shiny buttons. If you're going to get the 3 shiny buttons, you'll see it'll start to come, the behavior will start to kind of go this way. You give a 1 or 2 shiny button, you'll see the behavior start to go up. Okay? So there's actually research and science that shows that we're human, and when it comes to digital communication, we want top level, and we want to be up, we want the control to do anything next. Don't give it to me all. And as far as I'm concerned, you shouldn't. You should drive people somewhere. Pull them to your website, pull them to a web page, pull them to a video. That's how you can generate some great engagement. Okay, we talked about turning questions into content, right? So going back to your offices, mingling with your team, go through various questions that you're always asked. And then someone on the team convert those questions into content. Simple exercise, and then go and start communicating it to a segmented list, right? That's very, very simple to do. I'm going to suggest you probably within a couple of weeks, you'll be able to do this exercise, right? Because Jay being the real estate agent, Aaron being the insurance expert, they know stuff that I don't know at all, but they probably get common questions every time. We'll share that, okay? It's not that difficult to do. All right, the other thing, 90% of our brain is visual. It's a science. 90% of our brain, we're visual. We're visual. We like visual stuff. Don't forget about visual in your communication pieces. Don't forget about visual in your communication pieces. So visual can be video, word images, okay? It could be pictures. And folks, I'm not going to be harsh with you, but absolutely no one has any excuse to not be able to take good photos anymore. That's absolutely no excuse. Right? It's amazing the technology that this little beast can provide when it comes to a nice photo. You have absolutely no excuse. Because quite frankly, when we take our images from this thing, we're not necessarily taking pictures to print. We're taking pictures to go online. And from a techie standpoint, you don't need high resolution photos to go online. So you have absolutely no excuse to not be generating your images. Let me give you some ideas, some best practices. People love behind the scenes photos. They love the behind the scenes videos and photos. They love photos of your interaction with your clients. Clients love those types of photos because you know what? If Aaron's got a client, a family, a professional in Peterborough that he's done something for, right? And he showcases that individual on whatever digital platform, let's say it's email, it's the #1 platform, guess what that person's probably going to do? What do you think they're going to do, my friend?
May share it on social media.
You're the man. That's why you're insurance, right? This is the man. This is the man. Because we're all human, right? So if I'm being featured by an insurance or real estate or somebody, I'm going to brag. I'm going to share it to my friend. Hey, look at this, right? Now I've got Aaron in front of people he wasn't able to get in front of. Brilliant. Now you got people being your salespeople. That's one best practice when it comes to images. Video, you could do a quick video interview with your customer, really, really quick. Post it on Facebook. Bob's your uncle, right? So remember, you got images to deal with. Now, in terms of mobile, I'm going to very high level because there's a whole totally different experience that I have all around mobile marketing. So I'll touch on that at another time if I'm ever asked back. But number one thing is when it comes to mobile, please remember 70% of us in this great country are on a mobile device. We are actually consuming your communications on a tiny, tiny little screen. So we got to remember two things. When we're actually doing our email communications and you're using the right tool, You have the ability to create your communications on what I'm going to call a mobile-friendly template. So when I send my email communication, right, to my good friend Aaron now, or I send it to Paul, and they're constantly on a mobile device, I want to make sure that it's mobile-friendly, right? I want to make sure it's there. How many people actually have to zoom and actually have to pinch and zoom? Pinch and zoom. Anybody? Neil? You? Yeah? If you got to pinch and zoom, that is not mobile-friendly. I'm not saying mobile responsive. Those are two different things. Mobile friendly and mobile responsive are two different things. So if you've got to pinch and zoom, it is not mobile friendly. You need to be able to send your communications, and if Aaron gets it, he should be able to read it without doing anything. Right? So let's remember that in terms of your next email communication. Getting your email open. Getting it open. Let's talk about some best practices. So, I've laid this for you. Print this out. This is your cheat sheet. I've laid it all for you right here. Okay? Here they are. You got to follow this. If you're using your tool the right way, and I'm biased because I represent Constant Contact, so if you're using Constant Contact, you shall not use any template other than a single column template. Our human behavior in the last 2 to 3 years now is to swipe up and down. Okay? We don't ever go left and right anymore. The worst mistake I made about a year ago, please, those folks who have kids, don't ever do this, especially if you've got young kids. I showed my kids Back to the Future. And now, every time I say something, they're like, "Pa, that is so 1985. That is so 1985. Okay? So they even say, "What do you mean, menus? What's that mean, Pa?" I'm like, "Well, menu on the left." Oh, that's so 1985. Kids we don't do that. That's not our behavior. So remember, single column. The other reason is single column, because we're dealing in and we're putting on a tiny screen, remember? It's on a tiny screen. Second point, remember we talked about images. And I say fewer than 3. If you can provide a communication that has 1 to 2 images, you're golden. You are golden. Okay? Number 3, remember, it says 20 lines of text. I'm challenging you 1 or 2 paragraphs. You're done. Don't give me anything more. If I want to hear more about the real estate market that Jay has put out there, I will push that shiny red, green, yellow, blue button. And Jay's going to know that people are resonating with her particular real estate report. Okay? 4, please, remember, no more than 3 to 5 links. Let's challenge ourselves. Go 1 to 2 links only. And when I say links, our best friends forever, that's BFF, Karen, our best friends forever are now a shiny button. There's no longer, remember, it's so 1985, are the word links. We used to do these word links. We used to have a word and link it. Bump those suckers out. It's now a button because we're on a tiny little device. Okay? Last one. Make sure if you're telling people what to do, because everyone in your communication needs to be telling people what to do, they should be above that fold, right? So I don't necessarily have to swipe all the way to the end. I should see it right on my mobile device right away. So that's very important. So there, I made that cheat sheet for you. So it should not be that difficult, folks, for your next communication. Follow the cheat sheet. Call me, text me, show it to me. You're going to get my information. So just like I'm adding you to my mailing list, you add me to yours. Go nuts. Okay? Send me a note, say, "Hey, Javed, I just sent you something. Can you take a look at it?" Sure. I'm a Taurus. I'll tell you exactly what it is. Okay? All right, so there's 4 reasons why people say I pay attention to that specific email. There's 4 reasons. I've laid it out for you here. Okay? Number 1, the first thing people do, human behavior, there is a science that when you get an email in your inbox, people say the first thing, I look at who sent it. If I recognize a name, I'll stop and I'll give that person my attention. If I don't recognize a name, I'm going to send it to trash heaven. It's gone. Right? Number 2, look at this. Subject lines. You've got to put together a compelling subject line. Answer the question, is it worth reading? So, the stuff about March newsletter, get rid of that. It's so 1985. Right? March newsletter, please. Come on, give me something compelling that I'm going to stop. Oh, wait, this is from Aaron. Look at that. Whoa, insurance is dead. What's this? Now he's got me. I'm in. Right? Real estate market's going to the garbage. Oh, what's this? She's got me. I'm in. right? Versus, here's my real estate report. Oh God, 1985, right? The timing is important. Write this down. 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., thou shalt not send email. Especially if you're using email as a tool to market your business. I don't have to explain to you why. If you want to know, we can talk about it over a beer. But boy, 10 a.m. to 3 or 4 p.m., thou shalt not send an email if you're using it to market. I'm not saying don't send your email. I'm saying if you're using it to market. What's the answer? Test it out. Everyone here has different audiences. So test out or ask your audience when is the best time they view their emails. You'll be amazed that people are using their emails and they're viewing it at like 3 or 4 in the morning. You'd be amazed people are actually having it next to their bedside and that's the first thing they do before even going to the washroom. They're checking their email. You're really amazed. Kind of freaks around here. Okay. And remember that example with Aaron. Give them the opportunity to share the communication. Okay? Go back to using the right tool. If you're using the right tool, it will give you the opportunity to share the communication. If I like something coming in, right, from Carmel, I like it, I need the opportunity from Carmel to share it with my audience. If she uses the right tool, it's going to give her that opportunity. Okay? So 4 reasons. 4 reasons. This is new. This is a new thing. Technology now has become so advanced. Where's my phone? Here's my phone. Technology is now so advanced, now people actually want to see what is called a pre-header. So I don't know if you see this on your mobile device. You actually see a subject line coming in, and then underneath that subject line there's some context, there's some text underneath. That's what that is, right there. So next time you see, well, you'll see mine. When you get my communication, look at it on your mobile device. You will see some pre-text underneath the subject line. As a matter of fact, when you open up my email, that pretext is gone. You don't see that. So it's strictly for the new technology called a mobile device. So moving forward, when you do your email communications, remember, 70% of us in this country are viewing your communications on this tiny screen. Make sure you put in what I call a teaser text or a pretext. It's new technology. And I say new technology meaning because we're so involved with mobile devices, you actually see a subject line, and then underneath you'll see some content. So just make a note to yourself, when I get Javed's email, take a look at it on a mobile device, on your mobile device, and you'll see the pretext. And then watch what happens. When you open my communication, that pretext is gone. It disappears. Okay? So that's what I mean by that. Time. I've put some of these ideas down. As far as I'm concerned, if I ever did have a Sharpie, and I wouldn't do this to my friends in Peterborough, I would put a whole Sharpie amongst all of these, because it all depends on your audience, right? You've got to ask them, or test it. We have clients, partners, we have organizations that we send communications at like 6 in the morning. And people are actually clicking on stuff. We're sending stuff at like 8 or 9 at night. People are clicking on stuff. On weekends, for crying out loud. So we're dealing with a soccer club, and they had one of these aha moments when I said, well, when you send your communications about X, why don't you send it on the weekends? And the president said, well, I don't know. It's a good. I said, well, yeah, because wouldn't you suspect that, you know, the moms and the dads who are watching their kids play soccer on the pitch, they probably have one of these things there. Unfortunately, they're either looking at a perfect opportunity to gain their attention. You got it, right on the soccer pitch. So it's knowing your audience, right? All right, let's go to tracking. The last part, the most important one. 3 things about tracking that you need to understand, right? First of all, you got to know what type of reporting matters in your tracking. So I'm going to lay that down for you. Okay, what are the types of things that matter when it comes to your reporting? I am not at all a fan of open rates. I really don't give a care of how your open rates are. If you have 100% open rates, who cares? Remember, I'm a Taurus. I'll tell you exactly what I feel. Okay? I don't care. I'm interested in, of the 100%, how many people clicked through? How many people actually took the time, read the great subject line from Jay, read the pretext, and said, oh, I like this, and they actually clicked that shiny button. That's what I'm interested in. So when you do your next campaign, look at the click-through rates rather than the open rates. I don't really care about the open rate. I get people saying, oh, we get 90% open rates. That's great. Of the 90%, how many click? 1. 1% of the 90? That's not good. Third point. Okay? Third point. Probably the most important one. Use the data you're getting back from the tool to make your decision for the future campaign. So I use Aaron as an example again, or Jay or Carmel. If we're testing, and let's say we sent out a customer success story of something that Aaron did for a client, and we sent it by text, we just send a little article, right? A little PDF article, goes to his website, they see it. But I say, hey buddy, why don't we do a quick video? See what one works, okay? Because as a marketer, don't be spending time on stuff that doesn't work. God, please, why are you spending time on stuff that's not getting you results? If it starts to get you results, spend more time on that. Kind of makes sense logically, right? So here are things you need to look at when you're looking at your results. Certainly look at your open rates, but when you look at your open rates, look at the percentage of click-through rates that you got from your open rate. Look at the number of people who are sharing your communication. Another one, how many people are opting out? And it's okay if you've got a lot of people opting out. Folks, don't lose any sleep over it. As I said, I'm still going to be best of friends. But if people are opting out, maybe there's a reason. Maybe it's because we're sending it every week. Maybe it's because we're sending it every hour. That's a little too much. So they may not be opting out because of the quality of your content. It may be because Leah is sending stuff that, oh my God, she's saying it again, and again, and again. It's just getting too much. Okay, so look at the why. And how many people are bouncing back? So using the right tool, again, I'm biased, with Constant Contacts tool, it will identify 5 reasons a contact list or contact point bounced. It'll actually tell you, okay? It'll show the name and it'll tell you why they bounced. So watch the bounce rate, especially if you're getting a lot of bounce rates. Take a look at that, and you know that I call that dirty data, right? You may have some dirty data. You may have data that is really old. Moving forward, there's another gentleman that we work for, a financial service professional. We work for a lot of financial service professionals. What he does is he actually has said to us, create a communication for the desktop people and create one for the mobile people. He wants 2 separate communications going out. So we know the names. We know who is clicking on what. Okay? Just gives you an idea in terms of results. Okay, let's put all this together. Do you have that feedback form?
Yes.
Please, thank you. So let's put all this together. All right? So, Constant Contact went and surveyed and actually did an analysis of almost 3 million email customers of theirs in North America, Canadian and US. And they put this together as their best practice. So I'm showcasing this for you. You're going to get the slide deck. So everything I've broken down, and just pretend this is your communication, everything we've talked about, I've broken it down for you. Okay? So, remember what I said at the very beginning? There's absolutely no excuses. You folks should not be doing this stuff. You get the slide deck, you can just print this out and make sure as a reference piece, hey, where are we doing? Okay, what are we doing? Are we doing this the right way? It's very, very important, especially those folks on camera there. When you are watching this, make sure that when you look at this information, it's very important that you look at the cheat sheet when you're starting to build your next campaign, okay? Now, let's go to the next step. Here's what I want you to do. The folks out there, this is what I want you to do also. It's very important we follow this through. Regardless of how many contacts you have, folks, do this in order. I won't go to the point of using the guarantee word, but I'm very confident you will get the results you're looking for. Number 1, get your contact list together. What I mean by that is you may have contacts, business cards everywhere. You may have stuff on Outlook. You may have stuff here, there. Put it all into one Excel spreadsheet. Get it all organized. And you don't have to start with all of them. Start with 100. Start with 50. Whatever you're comfortable with. Get them in order. And I said 5, send it to 50. Send it to your top 25. Right? Send it to your buddies. Send it to friends, people you're comfortable sending information to. I don't really care, quite frankly. Just do it. Second thing. Find a campaign that you learned about today. Okay? It could be a thank you note. It could be a special offer you're going to provide just to your VIP clients. Whatever you think is going to resonate and it's going to be relevant for your audience, not for you. Okay? Third point. Look at what's going to happen. Look at the results. Right? Folks out there watching, look at the results of your message. Is it working? If it's working for you, continue to do it. If it's not working, stop, call me, and let's have that conversation. All right, now that we know the homework, my final thoughts are very simple. Just, there's a lot we talked about within the time we're here today. There's a lot. I get it. That's why I want you to have the slide deck. I want you to call me and go through, or send me an email, text, whatever's easiest. Oh, look at that. My time's up. Apply one thing. Take one thing today, only one. That's all I want you to do. Within 2 weeks, give yourself 2 weeks, put it on a calendar. Within 2 weeks, do one thing that you learned today. One thing that resonated with you. Only one. That's all I want you to do. Remember, I'd rather you get it done than it being perfect. I'd rather you use, if I may, please, I'd rather you use this and do a video than have to go and search out for a video crew and lights and stuff in a studio. Okay, just get it done. These are awesome doing video, right? These are really, really awesome. Just remember, when you're doing, especially with this, I've learned this from one of our video guys on our team, please make sure it's arm's length. You'll hear the voice. You know, you don't necessarily have to have mics and stuff like that, okay? So get it done. Get one of the things done. Now,